I was born in England. I will be 97 this month. I've been in Canada for, I don't know how many years, over 50 anyway. Clark was from Seniors, Quebec. I was nursing, as a matter of fact, and I met him at an officers' mess. The nursing staff had been invited to the officers' mess, and it was a party that it was the first time I had met him. And that was in Aldershot. Clark came back to Canada 6 months ahead of me. I didn't know whether I would be coming to Canada or not. Couldn't make up my mind, as a matter of fact. We kept up a written conversation for a while through the winter, and by the spring, you see, we decided that I would make a visit to Canada. Because after going through the war years, you know, everything was so different and so new. And quite frankly, I knew very little about Canada. Then we decided that if I didn't like it, I could always go home, because we weren't married at this point. We were married in Montreal later on. It was quite a decision to make. He had a job in Sherbrooke, Quebec, before I ever came up here. I was in Canada at least a year, if not more, before I came north here. And Clark had left the north because he'd been working up here, but figured I wouldn't like it for some reason, and so moved to Sherbrooke. And he was working there, and then later we came north. He liked the north of Canada and wanted to get back here. I came up by train alone the first time. Clark had already come ahead. And coming by train through the wilderness, I wondered where in the world we were going to. In England, everything is very compact and small. And here, everything seemed so vast, I couldn't get over it. It's you had a long way to go to get anywhere. Once you get to know the North, it really is a beautiful place to be. It was a very new life from coming from war-torn England to everybody. They talked about being on rations and rationing. They didn't know the meaning of the word rationing. You know, it's where you were down to one pat of butter for a month and things like that. At that time, it was more English-speaking than French. When the French were getting more vocal on a lot of things, and that is when we lost Laporte, and he was murdered and so forth, which wasn't a very nice era, as a matter of fact. But that's why Clark got involved, and Clark was very involved in anything political of that nature at that time. I mean, I'd never lived in a situation like that where there were two different countries sort of living together. I didn't know much about it at that point. Everything was all right as far as I was concerned, and it wasn't until Clark got involved in Alliance Quebec and I got involved more in it that I sort of found out how things really were. I'd never lived in a society where there was broken like that in the middle. Gradually, of course, as time went on, I got more politically minded too, and got more involved in it, more interested in it. But it took a long while, and then, of course, we were starting our own family and to get involved in. But it wasn't until Laporte was killed that people really got serious and scared and decided to leave the province. As I say, 90% English-speaking when I moved here first. Now it is, I would say, 95% French. Complete turnaround. So lived through both. When you're involved in everything, you're belonging to the community. When there is nothing, the church shuts down. Bit by bit, things closed down. And the center was handed over to the town to manage from the mine. And bit by bit, it closes. Things seem to be, to me, I don't know, gradually winding down here. Eventually, if it goes on this way, there won't be an English community here at all. People are getting older, and the young people don't come back anymore. They find jobs elsewhere once they leave university. So bit by bit, you can see it's gradually dying. Which is sad in a way, because it was a very vibrant community when we first moved here. Everything was go, 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 and all sorts of organizations and groups of things, and bit by bit, they've gone. Looking back on it, I've been very lucky. I had an early Quebec, I've got a later Quebec, and everything in between. So I don't think there are many people that have perhaps done that. I don't know. I have two lives, you see. The English section of my young adult life, because I was, 22 or something when I came to Canada. You have the adult, and then the adult life of living, It's two separate lives entirely. Well, right now, I think I'm more Canadian than British. It's still there, but I don't think any of the war brides exactly felt Canadian. I think there was always that British element in the background. Well, I would say English by birth, Canadian by lifestyle. I'm both. I started off English and I've ended up Canadian. So take your pick.